What is going on, guys? So Nightwish's new album, Human Nature, is finally here, and boy, do I have a lot to say about this album. So let's get right into it. All right, so music, the first track, really awesome intro, really fits the cover art of the album. It gives me like a really like you going into like an ancient tomb temple kind of feel. She like walking in there, kind of like Indiana Jones in it, and you're walking in this like ancient like structure. Really good mood setter for the rest of the album. Kind of lets you, well, at least for this album, since it's a double album, kind of lets you know what you're in for, mood wise and like theme wise. Really, really good mood set. The bass was really nice in there. It gave it like a little ominous feel, but also like made it kind of have like more like a wonderful or wondrous kind of like tone to it. It was like really interesting the way they played with that. And then like toward the end, it kind of reminded me of like you were like racing like out of the temple, or you were like in some kind of like frantic race to get like somewhere else that wasn't the temple. Kind of like if you like take the artifact and then like a trap springs or whatever like that. Really reminded me of that a lot. And the vocal control, just of Floor, and like the way the vocals were like sung and put together was like really really like super tight. Like vocals sounded really really awesome. Like I was like, I was like surprised how good it was. Like just the vocal like control to like sing the way that she was singing was just like, wow, that's crazy like impressive. Excellent album opener, excellent song, and then we have Noise. Very 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 heavy. Like Nightwish seems to be getting heavier now, and I like it. I really like it. But it was like really, really nice and heavy. Like where all the ahs come in, the part after that where all those like chugs come in, I was like, oh man, Nightwish is getting like a little genty up in here. Okay, digging it. I like it. They really have this interesting way of making the chugs like sound really heavy, but not like obnoxious heavy. You know what I mean? Like they make it fit in the music really, really well. Like they make it fit really well with all the vocals and all like the extra like symphonic elements and stuff in there. They really make it work really, really well. It doesn't get obnoxious and it doesn't overtake anything. They don't overdo it. You know what I mean? But they still like nice. Like they can do that. Yeah, vocal control again. Like the way everything is sung in the whole album really, but it's just like the control of like the vocal cord and everything just like insane in this whole album. But like just the way like she can like be so on point, all these different notes and pitches and stuff, and singing all these words, just like insane. That's crazy. Drums really shined in this one like a lot. Like Kai's doing a great job, so props him for that. It was really like drums were really a big driver on this song, and they sounded amazing. Like they weren't too overpowering, they weren't too low. He was in the pocket the whole time, of course, and it really just like drove this whole song to like another level. And, and it ramps up toward the end a little bit. It gets a little more intense, and there's like a future voice, I kind of call it, or like just like some future like stuff in the end that makes it sound like it makes it go from like maybe the Stone Age to like the Jetsons Age or whatever. You know what I mean? And I just put nice at the end because that's what I said after the track was over. All right, and the Shoemaker. So this is one of the places where the vocal shined a lot, especially since I didn't expect them to be like sung the way they were, like as tight with like the instruments that were going on at the time. Like I was like, oh, I didn't expect the vocal to sound that way. She's singing like it was like this is really bad illustration, but it was just like, wow, she's really singing those vocals like in a very, very. It was very odd, but also very interesting to me. Like it was like I heard it and I was like, oh, interesting. But yeah, vocal control, crazy, and I just didn't expect the vocal to be sung that way, but it was like really, really cool to hear. Really, really nice and chuggy, like a little bouncy. I like that. The lyrics were very, very, very wondrous and very yeah, what's a better word for wondrous? I'm using that a lot if I don't find another word. But they were very like wondrous and like wonderful and fanciful, I guess. I don't know. Some akin to that. The speaking part I really enjoyed. That was interesting. And like the ending was like really, really huge and epic and choral, and I was like, wow, that was great. So awesome, awesome. Harvest. Very, very nice and tribal feel. I really enjoyed that a lot. And then it went into this whole like Irish feel, and I was like, oh my god, this is great. You know, it reminded me of like listening to like the High Kings or Celtic Woman or Celtic Thunder. I was like, oh man, it's really really nice and like Celtic and stuff like that. I was like, oh man, it's great. It's like when you watch those like Celtic videos and they're like zooming over like the mountains and stuff in like Ireland and stuff like that. It reminded me of that. So awesome. The clapping. Oh, dude, the clapping was amazing. Like, okay, like if you put clapping in an album, like it better be good. Like it better be good and better suit the mood and it better like really elevate the song. And like when I heard clapping, I was like, okay, this is good. Like I almost started clapping along myself. I was like, okay, like this is like perfect. Like hopefully they play this song live because that was just like amazing. Like they actually put like the clapping in the album, amazing, just awesome. I was on Harvest. Yeah, then at the end it just went full Irish, which I obviously adored. So that was great. Pan, super super dramatic, like very very like it wouldn't. I don't. I'm not gonna say tense, but it was very yeah, very very dramatic and like I guess I would say like slightly suspenseful, but that was pretty good. I really enjoyed that. It had a little bit of speed, which I really enjoyed. It wasn't like like crazy fast, but it kind of like it kind of made your heart go a little bit, made be a little faster. So that was really nice. I couldn't tell whether it was like happy or sad because it kept going. It sounded kind of happy, but there's also this sort of kind of like melancholy-ish like overtone to it, and just like, well, am I supposed to like smile or am I supposed to like frown or am I supposed to like go between the two? Like, what am I supposed to do here? But like, it was very like interesting interplay between different moods because like it could easily be either one. You don't know which one it was. So I kind of like that like that moodal. I don't think that's a word, but that like mood shift that they were kind of like throwing around and playing with. It was really cool. All right, how's the heart? The heartbeat in the beginning was like super creepy, like really creepy. Because it had the heartbeat, and then you had some other noises, and I thought they were like cars going outside my window or something. I was like, "What is that?" And so I was like, "Oh, it's like the track," and I was like, "Wow, that was interesting." It was a little bit creepy, but it was kind of cool. And then it went full on Celtic. This is another one where like I kind of this is like the first one here where I kind of just got lost in it and like just like started listening and stuff and it almost kind of made me cry. It made me think of like me myself and some stuff I'm going through and like some other friends of mine and everything like that. And it just kind of made me I don't know. It's a very very introspective song. Like the way like, I was like interpreting it and like the way it's making me feel. And yeah, it just really kind of just really kind of like thought about like myself, my own life for a while there, and it like almost kind of made me cry a little bit, but that's good. It was really, it was like a really, I mean, for me, it was just a really introspective song, really, and it was really like really super like emotional and like it really made you like think a lot. When I saw the title, I was like, yeah, this is probably gonna be like one of the like deeper songs, and it was just like one of those like kind of just like make you think about like yourself and like your family and like other people going through stuff and stuff like that. So, yeah, the deep voice at the end was also amazing. That's another thing I'm gonna comment on when I talk about the album as a whole. Yeah, the deep voice in the end was amazing. And then you had Procession, which sounded kind of futury to me. In the beginning, it had a little bit of the like future vibe to it. And then the drums and the piano. The drums were like another spotlight. The drums in the spotlight again for this song. They just mixed really well, and they really like added to the song extremely well, and really kind of drove the song. The piano part I thought was extremely extremely beautiful. And then there was the flute part, which I was like, I put dreamy down. So yeah, the flute part was awesome. Like God, every time the flute comes in like this album, it just comes in like the perfect place, plays the perfect notes. Like, oh, I'm so glad they have like Troy in the band. Oh my God, it was amazing. And then I didn't expect the ending. Like, I don't know, I didn't. Uh, I mean, kind of ended too quickly for me. I kind of wish it like would have went on a little bit, but the ending was just kind of like it's when I was like, oh, I even like looked at it and I was like, oh, it's over. Like, bummer, you know. Yeah, okay, so track 8, Tribal. Best song on the whole album, dude. Like, oh my god, like the beginning was just like had this real ominous feel, right? Like you're like walking in like the tribal circle and the fire's lit and you don't know what's going on. You're like this outsider and the chief's sitting there, he's looking at you all weird and stuff, and then it just like it got so bouncy and stuff. Like I was sitting here like head banging and stuff like that. I was like, oh my god, it's so good. And bro, the vocals, oh man, dude, like the harsh vocals, like the slightly harsh vocals that Flora had, and like all like the chanting and oh, dude, the whole vibe of the song was lit. Oh my god, it was like amazing. Like, oh man. I don't know if you can see, but I have a little like boy just like written right down there. It's just like such an amazing song. Like, oh my god, I have a star by it too. I don't know if you see that either, but I have a star by that junk. Dude, it was the best song on the album. Like, oh my, on both albums, since the double album, both albums, dude. Like, oh my god, great job. Great job, dude. Oh man, I really hope they play that live. Whenever they come to Florida, please play that live, y'all. Like, oh man, like, oh, dude. I almost went back and listened to that song twice, but I had to finish the 2 albums and do this review. But oh god, oh man, Tribal was amazing. I love it. Best song off the album. Ooh, okay. So, endlessness. Bass, exclamation point, because bass was totally on point, sounded great, and yeah, best part of the song right there. And vocals also sounded great. Everything was great. Like, excellent. Like, okay, I'm just gonna put it this way: if like this hadn't been a double album and we didn't have all the works of nature which are doing the world part, if endlessness would have been the last song on the album or the last like song, it would have been I would have totally fine with that. Like this was such a great like encompassment of the first album, right? But it also was an excellent segue into the next album because I feel like the next album is like kind of like a whole different feel. But if this would have been the last song and there would have just been these 9 tracks, that would have been amazing. Because endlessness was just and it was like how like music had a nice intro and everything and it fit like the album art and you like felt like you're going into like an ancient tomb or whatever. Endlessness was like, we're like in the present now and this how everything is now. Like it was just like it's kind of like a book. Excuse me, kind of like the last chapter of a really good book. So if Innocence would have been the last song, I'd have been totally fine with that. It was just like it was excellent like piece of closure or excellent epilogue. You know what I mean? So now we have all the works of nature which adorn the world album, or the second album half, or the second half of the double album, or something like that. So we got Vista. All right, I love the spoken part. I wasn't exactly sure what this like second album was gonna be. Like, if it was gonna be all instrumental, it was gonna be something more akin to like the last song, "Endless Song," Most Beautiful, where it's like mostly like narration and stuff like that. But I did love the spoken part, and this second album is like more about like mood since it's mainly instrumental and stuff like that. So what I pictured with Vista was walking through the woods and discovering like fair, like like I don't know how many of y'all know what the film Fern Gully's about, but like walking through like a wooded area and then coming out to this like magical place, like where there's fairies and wood nymphs and all that kind of stuff. Or like I guess instead of Fern Gully, you could say like that scene in Maleficent where you see like her kingdom or whatever, and all like the things are flying and stuff like that, and or like Snow White and the Huntsman where they go and find that like deer or whatever in the magical forest. Just some like huge, just walking through the forest and there's this huge like magical forest, like that's kind of what I kind of envision with that, just like walking through like a wooded area and like finding like this forest with all these magical like creatures and all that kind of stuff. So it was really nice, very nice like visual experience, like very imaginative. Your brain really gets working and everything like that. And then for the blue, I just pictured straight up Viking ships, dudes like in the water, the sky is like gray and cloudy, straight up Vikings, going to pillage, going to like try to get to Valhalla and all that stuff, going to battle. Yeah, pretty much that. These dudes are straight up Thor worshippers, got the beards and the braids, they got their axes and the shields and all that stuff. Straight up Amon Amarth fans, just like going to battle to Valhalla to make Thor and Odin, all those other gods proud, you know what I mean? Just like hardcore, like straight up Viking vibes all day. And then the green, so what I pictured with that was you're walking into this house, right? Or no, like the camera's going into this house, and you have one of those. It's like an old timey, like like setup and whatever, like way back in the day, and someone's sick from whatever standard coughing disease they got or whatever, and so like the whole thing I picture for this is like someone's sick, right? Like let's say like a child is sick, whatever, and the mother like walks in to their room, and there's a fireplace going, and she like sits down, puts the towel on their head, wipes her sweat or whatever, and she like starts telling them a story because like this person's like gonna like die or whatever from whatever disease. And she's telling them like this story, like this and this, and she's like, oh yeah, like even though she knows the kid's gonna like die or whatever, she's gonna like, oh yeah, once you get better we can go frolic through the fields or something like that or whatever. And but the kid's like gonna like pass or whatever, but she's like making them like, she's making them happy, giving them good memories and reminiscing about all the good times and stuff like that. And that was a vibe I got from that. It kind of also made me a little sad. Reminded me of like my grandmother a little bit, but yeah, that's the vibe I got from that. Very, very, very kind of sad, but also a little bit of happy overtones. She's like creating happy memories and reminiscing about good times. Making the child laugh and stuff like that. So that's what I kind of pictured for that one. For Moors, I pictured like medieval time, knights, King Arthur, all that kind of stuff. So like you have this person like walking through the streets at night with like a lantern, right? Just like some like homeless person, like a Moor or whatever, and just walking through, and like something happens or whatever, and like the knights are like riding toward like the Moor or whatever, and they pass them, and they don't really pay them attention or whatever. They're like they're like knights or whatever, so like superhumans and whatever. And the Moor just has their little lantern at night, and the Moor just like kind of like looks at them as they pass them. And then like the Moor kind of like envisions being one of them, or like envisions like having like a better life for himself, like aspiring to be something greater or to be something more. And yeah, that was kind of it. Like some Moors walk through the old castle and see some knights, and like kind of aspires to be like them, and it just has like kind of spark that like ignites, and they go and like try to be like the knights pretty much. It was also pretty dramatic. It wasn't as more like sullen and melancholy as some of the previous songs, but it was like had a little more dramatic tinge to it. And so Aurora, let me see if I can read my own handwriting here. Yes, okay. Oh, okay, so this is that one. All right, so this one I pictured like, okay, you have this woman in a cloak, right? And she gets off this boat, just like a small little dinghy, not a huge like ship, just like a boat. And she gets off this boat, her boat rolls up to the shore. She gets off the boat, right? And she's walking. And then like these creatures start coming up out of the water, right? And they're like chasing her. And then so during the whole course of the song, like so she's arriving on the shore, and she's on this little dinghy, right? And these creatures come up and start chasing her, right? So she runs to this shack that's like a little bit upshore, right? And so she's running, and these things are chasing her, and she gets to the shack, right? She closes the door, and of course, there's like not really any windows, just like in like old times or whatever, like so she gets in there, closes the door, and she like lights the fire, right? She gets the fire going, right? And then like she's like stoking the fire, she's getting the flames all like lit and really high, whatever. And then right, she gets all this stuff, she starts throwing in the fire and like preparing the spell, right? She's preparing whatever kind of enchantment she's getting ready to do, and then like the creatures like burst through the door, and then she like looks behind her, and that was it. Like that's that whole song just like made me think of that whole scenario. Like, yeah, crazy. Like crazy how they weave like a whole story in like those few short minutes. how long is that song? That song is, yeah, in 2 minutes and 8 seconds. That's what they made me think of. In 2 minutes and 8 seconds. Yeah. All right, quiet as the show. So this one just reminded me straight up of, like, when I went to Broadway and the lights are dim and whatever, and then the curtains are opening and you have like the whole opening like sequence or whatever. It kind of like, actually, not even Broadway. It's like kind of like when I went to see Nightwish for the first time, and like I saw them in Orlando, and they had like this whole like intro where the stage was just dark, nobody was on it, and they played like, I forgot. I think they played like part of like the Greatest Show on Earth, because that was the most phenomenal, beautiful tour. I think they played like part of the Greatest Show on Earth. There's some like really long intro, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!" Like, "Oh my god, yeah!" Da, da, da. And it was like everyone was like getting so hyped. They were like listening to it. It was like, "Oh my god, the night was about to come on!" Da, 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 da. And like, yeah, it was like super hype and whispery and stuff. So it kind of reminded me of that, just like a grand opening to a show where like the lights are dimming and the intro is playing, the curtains are opening, and like the intro is just like going on. Everyone's like, like kind of like that. So yeah, just like you were at a show, like a grand show. And then Anthropocene, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Really epic build up. In my opinion, it was like a super crazy, like epic build up to what kind of, like, after the build up, I was kind of surprised at what it went to, because like I thought it would be something more like dramatic and kind of like more upbeat or like super like symphonic or whatever, but it kind of reminded me like a mouse scurrying around. Like, I don't know if y'all have seen the movie Mouse Hunt, but there's like a lot of shots of this mouse and there's like this dramatic music behind it while the mouse is just like creeping through the scene and whatever. And it kind of reminded me of that, just kind of like a mouse scurrying like around, kind of like a factory or anything like that. And yeah, that's what made me think. There's like a mouse like scurrying through like a factory, just like peeking at things and getting like that kind of view that only like like mice and like ants could get, from like the bottom, where they're like looking up and everything's like crazy and fanciful and everything's super huge to them and really loud and all this other stuff, and they don't really know what's going on because they're like a mouse. But yeah, it was really like, it was like a mouse scurrying around a factory, just getting that like mouse eye view of like everything that's going on. And it was over way too quick. Like, I was actually like, wait, it's over? No way, because it's only like a 3 minute, 6 second long song, but it's like, wow, that was really, really short. Like, I kind of wanted maybe like another 30 seconds or so, but yeah. And then Ad Astra was very grand, very, very grand, and very, very peaceful. Like, it was very, very serene, like kind of calming almost in a way. Uh, yeah, that was the last song on the album. And what this reminded me of, like before the vocals came in, well, not the vocal, the spoken part. It reminded me of like, if you leave in your house, or like you like live in a forest, right? Like, imagine you lived in like a super dilapidated like forest, like the trees had no leaves, like there was no grass, or just like dirt and like stuff like that everywhere. It's like you're walking out and you see nature just instantly like regrow. Like you walk out to this forest and suddenly the trees are vibrant and green, and the grass is very tall, all the flowers are blooming, there's birds and butterflies and bees, like, just like you're just walking out, and this forest that was once absolutely dead is just abundant and flourishing in every way possible. And then of course the speaking part came in, and I was just like floored by it, because it like really, I don't even really know how to put it into words, how it like just made me like feel and think. Or it was just like, I don't even really know. It was just amazing. It was just amazing. That's really all I gotta say. It was amazing, and it was like an excellent way to close the album with. It seemed like it kind of made you like look at the world and kind of like just, oh man, I don't even really know how to say it, but it was just amazing. It was just like a really, really great opener. Like, it was, I don't know, like I don't know, it was great, and it also harkened back to "Endless Summer Most Beautiful" as well, with the greatest show on earth and all the speaking parts and stuff like that. But it was great. But now I'm gonna talk about the album as a whole. Well, I honestly did not think that they could ever top Endless Form's Most Beautiful, because it was just such a great album, and they did it. They really, really did it. I don't know how they managed to do it, but they did it. And it was like, it's not even because, okay, so it's not even because this is a double album and the like both albums are so vastly different from each other, especially since one has mostly like instrumentals, one has mostly lyrics. It's just like the grand scope. I think the reason this album is so much, well, not so, but the reason this album is definitely um better than "And What's From the Beautiful" is because one, the depth of topic that they get into, and like the different ways that they can tell you a story both with lyrics and without lyrics is amazing. You know, the way that they can shape things and mold things with all these different moods and all these different techniques and all these different like instruments and vocal stylings, and like even like talking is just like it really like drowns you in the atmosphere, like in every way, shape, or form, and that's amazing. Second of all, this album was mixed incredibly well, like even better than "In the Storm Most Beautiful." Like the bass was amazing and on point all the time. The drums were just way better than "The Storm Most Beautiful." Like I was shocked, like especially on like songs like "Tribal" and what was that other one? Songs like "Tribal" and "Noise." Like the drums were just spot on, excellent, like amazing job, like composition and playing wise. Like the drums were like blowing me away, dude. And then of course the vocals, like the fact that they have so many more like voices on this album other than just Floors and Marco's adds so much more like layer and range to all the songs. Like it's just, because I was like, wait, you know, who is that singing? Because I didn't see like any like guest singers or anything like that. I'm like, oh man, there's like they're having more members of the band sing on this album. Like that's great. Like that sounds amazing. Like it just diversified their sound even that much more. You know, and of course Floor's doing some harsh vocals as well, and Yours is an Empty Hope is one of the best songs off, and this one, Little Beautiful. And Floor doing harsh vocals, I am all about. Yeah, but it's just such like a, it's like what could I, it's like they've taken you to a whole nother dimension. It's like, okay, let's see. So in the first album, you know, the first, since it's a double album, the first like 9 songs, it's like you're in a whole nother dimension, right? It's like well, it's not, no, it's like you're time traveling. So it's like you're time traveling, like you're going from like the beginning of creation to like the end, right? So it's like you're Rip Hunter, or you know, like a Beyonder or something like that. You're just like some kind of like person who can time travel. Oh, a watcher. You're like a watcher, you know, someone who can travel, who can like observe everything, anywhere. You know, you like Uatu or Tempest Huguenot or whatever. You know, you can just observe everything from like the beginning into the end, and just hopping through time. And then in the second one, it's like it's almost like you're a god who has who doesn't really who doesn't really necessarily have maybe an influence on what's going on around you, but it's something that you like see and observe and like learn from. You know what I mean? And just like it's just like an amazing, it's almost like you're listening to a movie, really. Like it's like, it's just like this insane, super huge, all encompassing like thing, and you're just along for the ride, and the ride is like scary and sad and happy, and it's just like an insane just experience, really. Like, I really didn't want to stop listening to this. Like, I want to just keep playing it over and over, but it's just I had to do this review, and of course, like other things. But it's just like, just when you think they can't get any better, like wow, it was. It's amazing. It's really amazing. Like, it's amazing. It's just an amazing album, uh, through and through. Like I said, I wish some songs could have been longer. I don't really have too many bad things to say about it, but I wish some songs would have been longer. And yeah, it's just an amazing spectacle to behold. you know, yeah. But that was Human Nature, Nightwish's. I believe that is their first double album, and yeah, definitely go listen to it for sure. Definitely go listen to Tribal. At least listen to that one. Yeah, if you guys like these videos, you can like, comment, subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching, and rock on.